Hey, welcome to Plant Some Art Therapy, and today we're going to be talking about the Silver Satin Pothos. This is my Silver Satin Pothos that I had growing about 10 feet away from a window that had eastern exposure. It's a beautiful plant and it was growing beautifully until something happened. The Silver Satin Pothos is not the same species as the Golden Pothos or the Marble Queen Pothos, which is a different cultivar or mutation off of the Golden Pothos. Even the Enjoy and the Jade Pearl Pothos are of the same species. I believe they are hybridized, but I don't know how they were able to hybridize this plant because the last I heard, the pothos hasn't developed sexual organs or blossoms since the 1960s. But this video is about the Silver Satin Pothos, a different species but in the same family. And this is what happened to my Silver Satin Pothos. I don't know what happened. It's in the same pot. I watered it, I fertilized it, I kept it in the same spot where it was flourishing, and all of a sudden it turned into this. The leaves curled, it stopped growing. It just looks bad. So I'm going to try and propagate this because this plant is a beautiful plant, and I hope it's not as slow growing as the Marble Queen. But just in case I can't save this plant, I'm going to try and propagate it. Nothing's changed about the care of this plant. I mean, I kept it in the same spot, facing the eastern window, never getting any direct sunlight, just bright indirect morning sunlight, never changing the watering routines. And I know that these plants are very good air purifiers. It clears the air of besides carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide, which is natural gases that humans put out. It gets rid of formaldehyde and styrene and a lot of other gases. And I know my house is not, the air inside my house is not that polluted because I have plants everywhere and not all of the plants are suffering like this. I hope I can save this plant. I hope I can propagate this plant. This is a really nice plant, but I have to figure out what went wrong or what I did wrong so I could correct it or not do it again. Drastic situations takes drastic measures, so I'm going to have to figure out what happened. And as soon as I took the plant out of the pot, I had a clue because the soil is soaking wet and it smelled like rotten eggs. In the environment and inside your potting soil, there are aerobic bacteria and anaerobic bacteria. Anaerobic bacteria is the type of bacteria that you want flourishing and thriving inside your pot because those are the bacteria that takes garden waste and metabolize it into elements that the plants can use, like phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, just like the things that the store sells directly. Anaerobic bacteria is not the bacteria you want flourishing. They will flourish in overwatered plants, in boggy soil, and they metabolize plant waste or garden matter into gas, and that's where you get the smell. Now in my wasteful days, I would have just thrown out the soil and just bought a whole bunch of new soil, but I'm trying to be more financially responsible. So now we have to figure out what happened, and as I inspect the pot, I've discovered it. The hole that was cut out of this pot, the plastic was still there, so eventually it clogged up the hole, sealing it so it couldn't drain, and then water just sat in this pot. Now that the cause of the problem is corrected, I'm just going to repot this pot. I'm not going to put a layer of gravel on the bottom. I don't do that anymore. I watched a video from Danielle Tells and Betsy Begonia about the perched water table, which changed my life drastically. I'm going to try and make a video of it myself. I think Epic Garden also came up with a video. And it's important because it dispels a myth that has been killing our plants without us even knowing about it. Anyways, I'm hoping that the Silver Satin Pothos is as sturdy as the golden pothos. It's in the same family. I'm not gonna get too emotionally invested in it. If it dies, I'm gonna take my grandmother's approach. If it lives, it lives. If it dies, it dies. It's just a plant. There's other things to worry about in life. But I'm going to try my best, and I'm also going to try and propagate these plants. I didn't even take the chance to evenly place these cuttings decoratively around this pot because that's how unemotionally attached I was for this project. But I did put sand on this plant just to slow down on the evaporation on the top end, sort of like anchor, make a denser soil layer on the top so the cuttings don't come out or too much dirt doesn't splash out when I do the watering. So this plant has a good chance. As for propagation, I have found that I had best success with my busy lifestyle to do water to soil propagation instead of directly into soil, because I don't have time to be keeping the soil moist all the time. If I do directly to water and wait to roots to develop, it will be, I've had much better success, if not 100% success with pothos and philodendrons. So I'm hoping that this silver pothos, which is not really the same species as the pothos, but in the same family, I'm hoping that it will be just as successful. So I'm just going to start it in water. This is about 1 to 2 weeks after I first placed these cuttings in water. And even though these leaves looks kind of bad, these roots develop kind of quickly. I mean, it looks really good. I have a good feeling about this. I mean, almost every cutting has roots. Now it's time to place these cuttings that were started in water into soil. And I'm just going to use a regular pot. I'm just going to put a coffee filter for, I have a lot of these from when I used to make my own coffee. I'm not going to put a layer of gravel on the bottom. I'm just going to put the soil mixture, which is just 2 parts of potting mix and 1 part of perlite. And just look at all these roots. These roots really did well. Well, the algae really grew, but these roots did really well. I should have checked them maybe a week after, but you know, if I checked them just now, it's probably because I just have time to do this now. And I'm just going to continue my same potting technique. I'm going to arrange them so hopefully that they will grow and they're going to start setting out little plants from the bottom and going through the top, and then it's gonna look nice. From all those cuttings in that one glass, I was able to make 3 pots, and these plants don't look that good right now, but I have a good feeling about this because the roots develop quite quick, so I have a feeling that they're gonna do well. And within a few months, this is what happened. Look at this plant. This plant looks beautiful. This turned out to be one of the easiest plants to propagate. A few of my friends wanted a few of my plants, so I gave them away before I was able to record them. But this species of pothos is very easy to propagate and it looks very nice. Thank you for watching and aloha.